Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Mann from Permashield. I've been Brewin Solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast.
Let's brew! That's Hey, car guys and car gals.
Yeah. Hello.
Bet you knew that because you clicked let's watch or let's listen, whichever. So check this out. We are excited to have Russ Mann still with us doing incredible things, and he is going to help us do what it is we do on this jump box. And what do we usually do? Like any situation where you want to activate a dead battery, you address the negative. You got to address the negative. Have to do it. Got to stay grounded, folks. Okay? And then unveil that positive. Go ahead and expose those connection ports. Clamp up those cables. Turn on that box and juice it up. Go ahead and add juice to the battery of that engine. And that is what Russ Mann is doing for you right here, right now on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. He is going to give you a little bit of juice.
Yes, he is.
Battery.
He just recently had to jump a car to test drive it to show you guys how the Permashield works.
I did.
That's how long that car sat there. And what a great testimonial. Anyhow, yes, the jump box, my friend.
Man, your guys' introductions are really kind of hard to follow. Like I feel like I want to jump up and like a jump box, right? Like, whoo, right?
Hey, then do it, man. Just be you, man. Yes, absolutely. So, Russ, I know that everybody, they always like to get an edge in life that, and I'm sure with your experience, there's something that you can share with the people, with the Car Guy Coffee crowd. Let them know, hey, this is what you all should do. This will really help you out. What would that be?
So for me, it's absolutely getting outside of your comfort zone. The comfort zone, there's life is life, right? It has its ups, it has its downs, it has its potholes, it has its rainbows. You can use all kinds of different cliches and ways to conjure up images that you need to be successful. But at the end of the day, you have to do the work, and you have to put yourself outside of the box of what you're comfortable doing every day. And then when you do that, it gives you an opportunity to learn something new, learn something and broaden your mind, and get out of your comfort zone. So take an example of learning when you're a kid to play. I grew up playing sports. It was how I prevented, that's how I interacted with other people's, right? So I learned how to play sports. Well, when you first time you strike out, or the first time you miss a penalty kick playing soccer, or whatever those kinds of things are, those are the things that got you outside of your comfort zone to try it again, right? You're outside of your comfort zone to try something different. You're outside of your comfort zone in the sales process, right? You have to ask for the sale. It takes practice. So I would always suggest that people practice at being outside of that comfort zone, because when you practice it and you role play and you learn from other people and create a process with yourself, getting out of your comfort zone is a lot easier to do, and especially on the practice side. Some people are really uncomfortable with role play. I absolutely believe that role play is the easiest, fastest way for you to get outside of your comfort zone and become proficient at something that you weren't proficient at before, without a lot of pain.
This is where you make your mistakes, right? This is where you mess that up. This is where you can fumble and pick yourself back up, because when you're in front of the customer, it's showtime. They don't want somebody that's less knowledgeable of what it is that they're buying. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't know anything about what I'm saying. Why? Because I haven't practiced saying it. Yeah, right. But it really works, I promise. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not going to do it.
So, like coming back from a test drive is a great example. It was one of the first things I really got out of my comfort zone with was when they came back for the test drive. So if all the numbers, if we can work out all the numbers and you're comfortable with that, obviously there's no obligation with that. But if I got the right payment, we got the right car, right? Yes. Okay, perfect. So if I got the payment right, you think it'd be okay for us to move forward? That sentence took me months to master when I first started selling cars, because I had no one else to role play it with, right? It was every single customer. I'm like, how'd you like it? Oh, okay, you like the car. Okay, all right. Then racking my brain at the time. What am I supposed to say right now? Right. Because I hadn't practiced it.
It's so key.
What do I do here? What do I do here?
Yeah. What do I do? Okay, I'm back from the test drive. We parked it in the parking spot. Okay, what am I going to do next? Right? Yeah. So
do you want to try the numbers? Extend.
Yes.
No, and you're right. Practicing with people, getting better, because it's better. Like you were talking about, it's better to mess up with your peers than it is to do it in front of your customer, because you want to be the best pro you can be, because that's your opportunity, that's your paycheck.
Right.
But it's also a missed opportunity to help somebody get a better vehicle, help them understand, because a lot of people don't say no because of the payment or price. It's just they don't understand, and they just
get the process.
Right. They need to go through all the steps. Somebody skipped something. The salesperson didn't do everything, whether they didn't do the features and benefits, the test drive, the trial close, or, build some rapport with them, qualify, meet and greet. All that stuff is so important to selling a vehicle, having that process locked down, but practicing it. So having a peer to sit here and, hey, what would you say if a customer said this? Hey, let me act like what somebody just said to me, and what would you say to this? And that's so key.
And even doing that with your partner is hard. That's still another piece of getting out of your comfort zone, to go up like, hey, Lou, man, do you mind if you help me with practice my pitch, right? I mean, that's even hard to ask a peer to role play with you, because that they're going to put themselves out of their own comfort zone. So that's the key. If you can have the courage to do something that you've never done before, and do it on a consistent basis with a peer first, when you're out on the front line, it becomes just so much easier.
Yeah. Every time, and it just becomes more and more, because you used it and it works, and your peers use it, and it works for them. And I used to do a lot of listening. I used to, let's say if Lou was working a deal and I hear him trying to close one, and I know it's a difficult close, I'd go sit down on the cubicle next to him, kind of hide down low, and listen to what he's saying. Or I would listen to somebody who's been doing it for 10, 20 years, or whoever. If I felt like I could learn something at this moment, I went and listened. That was another way I learned. Oh man, that was a great close. Wow. And it's not really close. It's, we all say we're closers. It's not, and it's techniques, but it's asking the right questions, understanding what the customer really is saying there and what their true objection is, and then explaining it's going to be okay.
Right.
You just make them comfortable. You make them feel like it's going to be all right, that they deserve this, and so on and so forth. And it's an emotional thing. Buying a car is emotional. Buying anything you do, anytime you're buying something, there's a slight emotions to it. There always is. I don't care if it's toothpaste. There's emotions attached to that a little bit. So, but buying a car is amplified because it's so expensive.
And there's so much risk. There is so much risk. I mean, this is the thing, that you're riding at crazy speeds next to other people riding at crazy speeds. And your life is right there, inches away from everything changing. You know what I mean? And so key things like having a good set of shoes on a car, a good set of tires, are vital to the success of that vehicle getting where it has to get. And you have a product that solves that problem,
Permashield,
that makes people feel just even more confident in what it is that they have. And I mean, when I look at things, I consider our profession, especially in the sales end, it's very good for us to always sharpen our axe, to, get our sword sharpened, to get our tools right and clean. And I think about it because in our profession, we get so much rejection, and we get such a bad stigma on us, or whatever the case is. But I think of it, like my daughter, she was working on being a phlebotomy tech, right? So she sat Fred and I down. And different professions don't play. You have to do that role play. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have to get that role play right with the dummy first, to get the dummy right, make your mistakes there, and then put your father and his best friend in a chair, and hopefully you don't make his blood squirt everywhere. You know what I mean? But that's what you have to have, those people in front of you and different role players to help sharpen your sword from different angles. You know what I mean? Because the one person, if you always are role playing with the same person, they're going to come up with the same answer, and you're always going to have that technique handled. One thing that I've learned about sales, and I'm pretty excited and proud of, is that we've had many exposures to people. So like you said about making sure that people that you're leading stay calm. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I've been able to gain is to maintain excitement, while at the same time of somebody that's absolutely petrified still being like, it's all good.
It's all good.
We're all good. Take it easy.
I know you just lot dropped that guy, but that's cool, man. Hey, look, bro.
And the customer too, you know what I mean? Making sure that the customer is comfortable, you know what I mean? But when the salesperson, you all know when that salesperson has that crazy walk or they're speaking with excitement and then it gets shifted to, it doesn't sound just excited anymore. This dude sounds anxious. And that person that's working with them gets scared of that. Well, you got to practice how to deal with the excitement of the game, you know what I mean? And being on stage.
I remember taking that deep breath before I went, after you close it, you're like, all right, folks, take you to sign right here, and I'll be right back. Let me make sure all this works out. And I try to walk slow as I'm walking away instead of being like, oh, my God, this shit doesn't work, you know?
And then you're doing paperwork. I need a license.
Yes, okay.
All right, cool. What's taking finance so long? I just got the folder, man.
I just got your folder, bro. I can't print it that fast.
Go get your stickers off the car. You know what I mean?
Go sit down with your customer. Talk about anything but the car deal.
Right.
But no, man, that's a great jump box. People, I encourage you, role play with your folks, role play with everybody. Like he said, I know it can be awkward to ask, but I can assure you, if you go to the right people at the store, they'll do it with you. Because they're probably wanting to ask you too, but they're too scared to ask themselves.
Right.
So be that person, be the one that says, hey, you know what? I want to practice. We were fortunate, Lou and I, we were on a floor with a bunch of hosses that all love role playing. So we had a chance to sit down and just spit game to each other all the time. Like, we're like, hey, and we were so analytical. My first 2 years, I thought about the deal way too deep. I remember I was like, okay, but what if but it was great. I'm glad that I did that because I tried everything in those first couple of years. I was trying to bust, and I was getting into all the psychology of it, which it does work, yes. But at the same time, it all boils down to just sounding like you're professional, know what your product is, know what you're doing, be empathetic to people, understand where they're coming from, and make sure that it is something that is worth their while. The value does exceed the cost to them. Once that happens, they do it.
And then matching together a couple of kisses, folks. Right? Keep it simple, stupid.
That's it.
Right?
And keep it seriously silly.
And it's okay to feel silly being serious about your profession. And we always feel weird when we get in those silly moments, but it's okay. Role playing has to be serious, and it's okay if you laugh. And it's
I think
okay
I've closed 100% of the people I made laugh.
Yes, being silly, it helps out. It releases
if it's not 100, it's dang close. If I made them laugh, they signed paperwork.
Yeah, they go from here to to.
All right, you know what? I know it's $10 more than I want to, but I'll do it. So, that being said, that was a jump box, my friends. Thank you, Russ, for that. We'll be right back with Car Guy Confession Session.
Whoop, whoop.